Lesson 3.1, Why Should I Have a Budget, is a key transition lesson in the Keys to Financial Success course. We're going from the first two themes, where we have the students looking at decision-making and careers, to now starting to think about how they're going to live within their means. And so we have a great activity here where the students get to see somebody, a young person who hasn't done a good job of thinking about what their income's going to be and then how they're going to live within that income. And then we end this lesson getting the students to begin the spending tracker activity, which they'll then use to start their budgets. So welcome back to class. Today we're going to talk a little bit about why we budget. So earlier in the class, you have picked your career that you're going to have throughout this class, right? So this is a possible career for you. And you've seen that we have a starting income that's associated with that, right? And we're going to use that income and your career throughout the class, throughout the rest of this class. So we've done all that, but we want to think a little bit about how do we come up with a plan for spending and saving, right? So when we think about, based on that income, what is the plan going to be that you're going to have for spending and saving based on that entry-level income? One of the unique and important things about the Keys to Financial Success program is that we have the students working on a course-long project, and that project involves choosing a possible career after they've done some research using the Career Compass activities in Theme 2. They then have a starting salary that's associated with that possible career, and they continue and carry that career then through the rest of the course. So what is a budget? Zena.
It's a plan for how we manage our income versus our expenditure.
Okay, a plan for how we measure, how we manage our expenditures versus our income, all right? And our expenditures are spending and saving, all right? So, do any of you have a budget? Jason?
I don't have a job, so I don't see the importance of budgeting.
All right, so right now in your life, you don't have a job, but in the long run, you're going to have a job, and in this class, you have a job. You've picked a career, and you're going to have a starting salary that's associated with that. So we want you to start thinking about the fact that we want you to think about planning for spending and saving based on that income, right? Because in the long run, we got to get you ready so that when you do have a job and you're earning income, you know you have a budget and you're able to plan your spending and saving. Anybody else have a budget? Antonia.
My mom makes me budget my money so I still have enough for college in the future.
Okay, so she's making you have a budget so that you have you plan your spending and then also your saving because you're saving for college. Okay, so why do people have budgets? Kayla.
So that people don't spend more than they want and they can afford what they're saving for.
All right, so they can reach their savings goals. They have to be able to plan their spending carefully in order to make sure that they're not spending more than what their income is, right? In Theme 3, where we're looking at budgeting, the students are using that starting income as the income side of their budget, and they have to then consider what their expenses, including savings, are going to be that's associated then and fits with that starting salary. So today we have a Reader's Theater activity, and I prepared some of you ahead of time to read your parts. This Reader's Theater is about a guy named Todd. It's going to be set in the lunchroom at the Stormy Ridge High School, and we're going to see how Todd's planning to spend his income, what income he thinks he's going to make once he reaches the real world, the world of adulthood. So I'm going to make sure everybody has a copy of the script. So let's pass these back. And then I'm going to set it up so that those of you who are playing these parts, you know exactly where you're going to be. So let's do this. Who's playing the narrator? Kayla, come on down. This is going to be your spot right here. All right. And then who's playing Todd and Kalela? Zena and Jason, come on down. This is going to be your spot that you're going to start in right over here. Now remember, you've come through the lunch line, so you're going to have a little discussion over here before you reach the table where everybody else is. You're going to have the little first part, you're going to be talking as you're sort of heading over there when you're on your way to the table from the lunch line, all right? And then, David, you're playing Sperry, right? So you're going to be here. And Matt, you're playing Brandon. You're going to be here. And then Faith, you're playing Ariana, so you're going to be here. Jason, you're going to wind up next to Sperry there because your character, Todd, and Sperry who's being played by David, have to be able to talk to each other. So you're going to and exchange some things. You're going to be on the end there. And then right over here, Zena, this is where Kalela is going to be. So you're going to wind up in the end coming to this seat, right? Okay. We think it's really important for the students to be engaged in as much activity as possible. We know that active learning has a key and important role in getting students to remember the personal finance content. So activities like Reader's Theaters, like the one we've used in this lesson, are important because we can get students up and engaged. So I have some props for you. So everybody that's in the scene gets a cafeteria tray. There's yours. Okay. And then David, this is the oligopoly game money that Sperry's going to use. All right. Why don't we have the rest of you move on up so that you're closer to the front and closer to the action. Great. So we're all ready to get started with our Reader's Theater, Todd and his real job.